What's up, poker players? Hope you guys are out there crushing the OSS tourneys today. I know I just started up mine. Today we're going to take a look at my tourneys from yesterday. I had 4 of them. And we're also going to look at the cash game hands that I got in after the tourneys. Let's jump into it. First hand we're looking at from the tourneys is Ace King from the button. This is the $3.30 MOSS number 8, 2,500 guaranteed. You can see the player to my left has a giant fucking stack, and this guy was playing off the hinges. He was so reckless, it was insane. And I have Ace King. He was playing literally everything, 3-betting everything. He just took a bunch of my stack when he called with like 9-8 suited to a player's all in, and I made a call with Ace King to see a flop, and he also made the call, wound up flopping 2 pair, bet the flop. I got out of the way, and he took like half of my stack on that one, and I make it 1975 to go, a little bit larger than 2x, and he jams all in for 275,000 in chips. I've seen how he plays, and I think Ace King is dominating his range, so of course I'm going to be getting in this one. Queen 10 suited, and he winds up flopping a 10. I miss all of my cards and get knocked out of that tournament in 279th place. But that pretty much just sums out how my tourney night went. There were a ton of hands like that where I got in the lead and just could not hold or hit any cards at all. It was brutal. 0 cashes in the 4 tournaments that I played, unlike the day before where I took 3 cashes. Now we're looking at pocket aces in the $8.80 MOSS number 11, 10K guaranteed. Folds to me. I am open raising here on the button. Blinds and antes are at 600. I make it 600 to go. A little bit larger than 2x. We get 3-bet by the big blind, who has a 9.7 3-bet percentage on 87 hands. I'm going to be putting in the extra 3K here to put some pressure on him with the pocket aces. I don't think he's going to get away from anything. He shows 8-10 suited and winds up hitting his flush on the river. Motherfucker. I did re-enter this tournament. That is all that I have recorded from the tournaments. My computer crashed on me. The Camtasia software is just making my computer crash on me. So I stopped recording and decided I would record if I made any cashes. I, however, did not make any cashes after that. So that is the end of the recording of the tournament play. Here is the leaderboard so far for the OSS Cubed tournament series. You can see that I am currently sitting in 196th with those 3 cashes on day 1. That helped out quite a bit. I think that's pretty good for only playing 7 of the tourneys and not making any seriously deep runs. I've had 3, in the first day that got in the top 100, just barely cashing. But hopefully we can get a deep run in here and move up in the leaderboard. Currently sitting there with 163 points, and the top of the leaderboard is at almost 700. So I got a ways to go. Got a lot of room for improvement, but I think we can do it. Let's take a look at some of the cash games from yesterday as well. Let's see how this recording turns out. I am playing tournament here, PLO tournament for the 13th event in the MOSS series. This one just started up. Well, just from looking at this graph, you can tell that I had a relatively rough cash game session as well as the tournament session. Kind of a frustrating day out on the tables, but at least we have some good content and some good hands to look at here. Let's get into these cash hands. First hand we're looking at is the biggest big blind win of the evening. Came at a 5NL table, unfortunately. We have pocket kings in the hijack seat. Make a standard 3x raise. We get a call from the small blind, and the small blind leads out for half pot on the flop. I just make a call with the top set. The turn is the ace of spades. Small blind leads out again, this time a little bit smaller than half pot. I make a full dollar raise here, and he makes a call. The river is the 3 of spades. Didn't help out many draws there. If he has a jack 10, he got there on the turn. He bet small on the river, less than a third of the pot. I don't think the jack 10 would be playing it this way. I think he would bet larger, trying to get value here. And I think we can get value from the set of kings here. There's 433 in the pot. I just jam here, make it look like a bluffy bet. And against this player who has relatively fishy numbers, I think he's going to have a hard time getting rid of something like like 2 pair or maybe even just an ace. He goes to the tank and actually makes a call with queens 10 kicker. So he must have put me on a complete bluff. I can't believe he made that call with queens, but hey, we'll take it. That one helped out the graph a little bit at the end of the night. I'm assuming it's that one right there that looks like our biggest jump of the evening. Here is our biggest big blind loss of the evening. Came at a 25 NL table. We have pocket sixes in the big blind. Under the gun plus 2 makes a 3x raise. We just call on the big blind, wind up flopping middle set, check back on the flop, and he bets 50 cents. I just make a call, not giving away the value of our hand quite yet. There's $2.60 in the pot on the turn. The 9 of diamonds gives a couple draws, some outs there on the turn. I just check back, and he bets close to half pot this time, and I come back over the top, no longer hiding the value of the pocket sixes, but I think a lot of the draws could make this play as well into this player, and he actually 4-bets here, comes back over the top of me, and from this player who plays a relatively tight game, we don't have a huge sample size on him. He could be a recreational player, but he shows down well, relatively tight aggression, hardly raises pre-flop, would assume he hardly raises post-flop too, but maybe he has something like aces or kings in this type of range too. Maybe he has something like ace king diamonds. So I just jam all in here, and he winds up calling with top set. I knew that that was a possibility to be in his range, and we wind up losing a big pot right there. That's a cooler though. Not much you can do about that one. I think we were ahead of most of his range except for pocket queens and pocket nines, obviously. Look at this shit going down over here. Looks like it's gonna be a 4-way all-in. This tournament is out of control. Oh, would've lost. Here is our biggest cash loss of the night. We got coolered, kings up against aces. Under the gun raises the 3x. I make it 10 to go from the hijack seat, and he 4-bets. I just make a call pre-flop. We wind up seeing a flop 8 high, 6s on the board. There is 45.50 in the pot. I think any pocket pair would be coming out betting here. I just make a call. The turn is the queen. Queens now have a full house, which could definitely be in this player's range. This player could definitely have aces or kings as well. Maybe he has ace king, and he makes a jam on the turn. It is $63 for me to call here. I'm well beyond pot committed. I don't think this player has an ace king. There's a possibility of it. I guess there's a possibility as ace queen as well, but that is slim with the 4-bet pre-flop from this player. I really wanted to hit the fold button right here because I thought we were going to be behind against most of this player's range, who plays very, very tight, shows down well, very low bet percentages on the flop, turn, and river, but I couldn't. I make the call and wind up losing a big old pot right here. 2 pocket aces. That is another cooler. That is how my night went. Trying to hang in there and bounce back. Let's look at the biggest cash win of the evening. Came on this hand. We have pocket 4s in the small blind. Under the gun limps, and we get a 3x isolation bet from the hijack seat. I make a call from the small blind. The under the gun limper calls as well. We see a flop of king high 2-tone. There is $5 in the pot. We flop bottom set. I just check back. The isolation razor pre-flop bets a little bit smaller than half pot on the flop. I just make a call with bottom set, and we get a raise from the under the gun limper. The hijack player folds. I am not going to fold here with bottom set, and I make a call. The turn is a 5 of spades. Doesn't help many cards out there, many hands out there. Doesn't help many hands out there. I just check back since this player has shown some pretty aggressive play on the flop, and he does again on the turn. He bets almost the full pot, $20. This player has a relatively loose playing style so far by just looking at his stats here, and I think we can easily jam here and have him chase something like a flush. He'll probably make a call with an ace king, which is definitely a possibility. Maybe he's playing something like king 7, but we are definitely ahead of most of his range. I think the only thing he possibly could have that we're behind is a set of 7s here with the way he played pre-flop. So I do raise all in. He makes a call. He has the outside straight draw as well as flush draw. He has a lot of outs there going into the river. He misses loses them, and we pick up a $111 pot on that one. Not a bad pickup right there. Now we are three-handed at a 50 NL table. I open raise to 150 from the button. The small blind, who has really loose and aggressive numbers, 3 bets to 550. I make a call with the 8-9 suited. We wind up flopping an up and down straight draw with 2 overcards. There is 1150 in the pot. He comes out and bets half pot. I just make a call here. I figure we could make some plays on this player later on. I see that he has some relatively high river fold numbers, and maybe we could have him slow down and just put in a bet here. But we wind up turning our straight. The flush draw, however, got there. There's 2450 in the pot. He slows down. I make it 1350 to go. And he jams all in. We are pot committed. If he has the flush, congrats. I thought something like aces, kings, ace king, ace queen with the ace king or queen of hearts could make this same play, and we are beyond committed here, so I think this is a pretty easy call with the straight. And I do make the call. He has the flush draw, outs going into the river, misses them. We pick up another large pot right there of $105. Cut the losses a little bit on that one as well. Now we're looking at ace king from the hijack seat. This is at a 50 NL table. We make it 3x to go. We have a very deep stack right here, and we get 3-bet by the button, who has a really loose 3-bet percentage of 18.2% over 27 hands. I know that's a very small sample size, but he's shown a lot of aggression so far. So I 4-bet here to 1250, which I think is a great play against this short stack as well. We're gonna put pressure on this player and have him commit his stack here, and we now act before him going on the flop now, so we can make a jam no matter what the flop is. And he has 1844 behind. Maybe we can get him to fold that. We wind up flopping top 2, so I X that strategy and try to get him to make a play into us now, go into slow play mode, and maybe we can get a very low pair that would be jamming on this board, knowing that he's pot committed to make that play as well, which is what happens. He jams for 1844. We make the call. He has nothing but a gut shot or a draw to a 10 going into the turn and river. Turn is a 4, doesn't help. Queen hits on the river, gives him the straight. Not much was going our way. Now we're going to take a look at pocket jacks from the cutoff. This is a 50 NL table. We open raise to 3x, and we get called by the big blind, who is probably a recreational player. We only have 19 hands on this player, 58% VPIP. Very small sample size, but I think that is a significant number and says a little bit about this player's game. Flop is 9 high, 2-tone. He checks back. I bet to $2, and he makes a call. We wind up turning our jack, which is now top set. We have the nuts right now. There's $725 in the pot. I bet 2/3 of the pot again, a little bit less than $5, and he makes a call. There's now $1721 in the pot. He has $42 behind him. Checks back again on the turn. I make it $14.95. I thought that was a pretty affordable bet, close to pot size, but I think we can get a call from a lot of hands here. If he has 2 pair, which he seems like he hasn't been folding much, he's got a 0 for full percentage on the river. Maybe we can get him to call with any pair out there. I know this is, again, a very small sample size, but he does make the call. We're not exactly sure what he has, but we pick up a very big pot right there. This is one of those where I think the HUD came into play a lot, and we were able to get a read on this player and put in a very large bet sizing on the river, knowing that he hasn't folded to a river bet yet. Head down to the video description to download Hold'em Manager, which is what I use for my on-table HUD, as well as session reviews. There's a link for America's Card Room as well. Head down there to download America's Card Room, as well as check out the tournament schedule, which is going on. Today is the micro tourneys. I'm going to probably get in all of them. I think there's 8 of them. I've got one going on right here. Not doing too hot so far. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you guys have not done that yet. I've got daily videos coming out. Lots of great content. Hit that subscribe button to make sure you don't miss out on anything. Give the video a thumbs up if you like what I'm doing. If you like this video, share it with any of your poker friends who might also have interest. And I'll be back very soon with a new video. Hopefully we get some good content from the tourneys today, and I'll have that one come out tomorrow. But until then, I'll see you guys out on the virtual felt.